Welcome to the Northern Powerhouse interview series, where we're unashamedly spreading good news by interviewing Northern businesses and their successes during the pandemic. Subscribe to be notified of new interviews or click the link in the description to take part if you'd like to be interviewed yourself in a future episode.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Northern Powerhouses Business Success Stories. So we are joined by Mark this afternoon, who is the Chief Exec at Langcliffe International. So thank you ever so much for joining us. We really do appreciate it. Can I just start off by asking you to introduce yourself properly, and can you tell us a little bit more about you guys and what it is that you do?
Yeah, sure. Well, my name's Mark Eardley. I think you identified that. I run a business called Langcliffe International. We are very, very focused in what we do, in that we introduce acquisition opportunities to acquisitive corporates and private equity firms, increasingly across Europe. So we're very reliant, really, in our business on the health of the mergers and acquisitions marketplace.
Amazing. Fantastic. So can you tell us, how has the last year been for you guys?
Well, it's quite interesting, really, because it started off, it started off in a very negative manner, in that I had a perception that the impact of COVID from about March last year would have a debilitating and decimating impact on the mergers and acquisitions industry, in my business in particular. And we took drastic action. We employed about 12, 13 people.
Yeah.
We furloughed 8 of them, and we cut the resources back to the bone. And I think really my dire premonitions, if you like, were borne out in March, April, May, June, July, and that we didn't raise a single invoice during that period of 5 months, whereas we'd normally be completing 2 deals a month and therefore raising 2 invoices a month, roughly that sort of magnitude. It started to change. Come late mid-August, we started to see people re-emerging and looking at deals again. I guess by October, November, December, some transactions were starting to complete. The pipeline was starting to fill. We could see real positivity. There's a time lag in what we do. We make an introduction today. It goes through various stages. It'll complete 8, 9 months later. But we could see a real pipeline building for around about now, actually, for the first and second quarters of 2021. We got all our staff back, I think, in October, and we recruited a further 6 people in December. So we've gone from employing 12 at the beginning, furloughing 8, to now employing 19, and they're all working full time. So interesting, I guess. Not what I expected at all.
Definitely. So how were the teams? So you mentioned that you utilised the furlough scheme for 8 of your guys. So how have the team adapted and kind of taken things over the last year?
We employ mainly graduates, and we employ mainly graduates, just out of university. They're all very, very good, very talented, and I think we were paying the furloughed staff no less, I think, than the people who were working full time. Everybody was getting the same remuneration, utilising the government scheme. And I think every single one of them would rather have been in the office working rather than sitting at home not working. And I don't know whether there was a way for the government to structure something differently whereby we could be subsidised, or business in our situation could be subsidised yet continue to employ the staff. But no, the guys who carried on working, I think, were very grateful that life could carry on a little bit as normal for them. Those that weren't working, I suppose, accepted it, understood why we had to do it, and they're all back and very happy to be working full time again.
Fantastic. So how did that affect your leadership style? How did you have to adapt as a leader?
I suppose one aspect was the remote management.
Yeah.
So we tried to comply where possible with the government scheme, with the government's, restrictions. And that meant that people weren't in the office as much as I would have liked them to have been. consequently, I probably got a little bit more organized in terms of set times for set meetings with people. Whereas when I'm in the office, I can just shout somebody to come into the office. So I think I was probably more organized than I normally am. I suppose more aware of some of the details, particularly around cash flow and things that I wouldn't be as concerned about normally.
Yeah.
But just keen to get people back as soon as I could. I don't think that fully understands your question, but it gives you a flavour.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, the adaptations that you made, obviously with remote working and things, do you think you'll keep hold of any of those moving forward?
Good question. We've sort of canvassed the staff as to what they would like in terms of working from home as opposed to working in the office. And we've had our staff full time since about the 1st of December because we recruited new people and they need to learn. They need to learn from their peers.
Yeah.
I think the nature of our business is such that whilst people can probably do their individual jobs remotely, there's a lot of learning goes on between new people and experienced people. And I don't think the younger, newer people would have the same opportunity to learn if we sanctioned more remote working.
Yeah.
So I think we've gone from sort of saying, what do you like, to saying, do you know what, our business works best if everybody's in the office. And I suppose insisting is, well, is it too strong a word? We ask people who work for us to come to work, and the work is in the office. But, you know, we will be very understanding if somebody has a specific need to go home, and we will be very flexible if, for example, as of today, somebody's got cats, they live by themselves and the cats were ill. You know, we accepted they had to go home and look after the cats. But we like to think that's a one-off. So we want people working in the office, really.
Yeah, fantastic. It's, I think, that camaraderie that we've all really missed, isn't it? You know, we enjoy interaction. And I know for me, certainly, I've really missed being with a team, and working from my dining table is just not quite the same. I think there's
I think that's 100% true.
Absolutely. So what would you say was like the biggest win that you could take away, the biggest positive that you could take away from what's happened over the last year for you guys?
I think 3 or 4 of the people who worked all the way through sort of became, and they were the more senior people, became more leaders in the business. They took more responsibility. And I think that's now evidenced in how they help me manage the business. I think that's one. I think 2, we were doing a lot, the business has grown internationally. So it's difficult to understand whether it was anything we actually did during the 6 or 7 months of initial lockdown or initial furloughing people that enabled us to start, I suppose, you know, really doing well. Or whether it was just the fact that we internationalized the business. But we decided to internationalize the business 2-3 years earlier, but maybe only got the benefits in this last months or 3 months in terms of revenue.
Yeah. So, and what do you guys imagine will be the challenges that you're likely to face as we emerge into this new normal? Kind of, what challenges do you anticipate?
I'm going to make a silly statement and say none, because I'm very much of the opinion the new normal has got to be as normal as the old normal was.
Yeah.
And, you know, when you've got a situation where, and I'm not denying that COVID exists, but when you've got a situation where COVID deaths on the odd day is less than the number of guys who die in a road accident, I think that we need to accept probably that there is a virus out there called COVID.
It's not going anywhere, is it? Yeah.
No, and we need to find a way to accommodate it in our everyday lives. So, you know, if it is necessary, for example, to continue with elements of social distancing in terms of, you know, not cramming everybody around the same, you know, desk,
Yeah.
in terms of sanitizing when they walk into the office, in terms of face masks in certain situations, only one person go in the kitchen area at the same time. I just think maybe those things are the new normal, but I don't think they have to be too, you just get on and do that sort of stuff. I think I don't see a new normal where new is a big N. I think the big N's on the normal rather than the new.
Do you know, you're the second person to say exactly that to me today. I think, yeah, there are a few people now with this new normal phrase that we've all been throwing around. Nobody knows, do we? We have no crystal ball, but as a return to as much normality as possible, I think is what we're all really hoping for.
No, I think we're all focused on that.
Absolutely. So what are you guys looking forward to the most as we emerge and the world starts turning again? We have some more normality. What are you guys looking forward to?
I think in a business context, we've developed internationally. So, Brussels, Amsterdam, Antwerp, Munich, Dusseldorf.
Wow.
Are locations that we need to visit as a business. We need to meet the professionals in those territories and business communities there as much as we need to meet the business communities in Leeds, which is roughly where I live. So I think just the ability to travel both domestically and internationally and meet people face to face, because I think you can develop a rapport over Zoom, but it really isn't the same as sitting opposite somebody.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, what great opportunities for your guys as well, in terms of their development and getting them involved in those kind of things. Fantastic opportunities. It must be really exciting for the team as well to be able to see that, they can almost touch it. It's right there.
Yeah, they're very, very talented. I mean, I always still think of myself as young, which is slightly strange, but they're very, very, very talented young people. And one of the most satisfying aspects of the development of the business is the ability to give them opportunities and hopefully reward them at a level that they deserve to be rewarded at. So yeah, hopefully that'll all happen.
Fantastic. And if there was one thing that you've learned from the last year, that sort of with the knowledge that you have now, one thing that you would have done differently, what might it have been?
That's a very, very interesting question. And this is all business related, isn't it? So what would I have done from a business context differently? Well, I wouldn't have taken a CBILS loan out because I don't actually need it. So that's one thing that I wouldn't have done. I suppose with hindsight, I just wouldn't have furloughed anybody because the business would have been a lot stronger if we'd kept all those people in situ over the period where they were furloughed. But hindsight's a great thing, and I think the world as well, certainly I think the world overall has performed, the economy and certainly a vast number of businesses, if you take hospitality, retail and restaurants, maybe out of that, and travel, maybe out of that bundle. I think the rest of business has just found a way to get on with things. And we introduced companies for sale to buyers, and we're not really seeing that the performance of lots of companies has gone down that significantly. Yeah. So I think, the one thing I would have done differently, but I think that was your question, was I wouldn't have furloughed my team.
Like you say, hindsight is a wonderful thing, isn't it? Yeah. We all try and take care of our teams and take care of our people. It's that responsibility we feel for not just them, it's their families and everyone else.
Absolutely, yeah, 100%.
And if what's the biggest thing you think you've learned about yourself as a leader over the last year?
I'm going to say that I'm not that good. I think because of the remote working, I think I've had to let the people underneath me have more autonomy in the way they make decisions. Yeah. And I think if you've got the right people, the more autonomy you can give them and the more power you can give them, A, the more they enjoy their roles, B, the quicker they learn, and probably C, the greater contribution they'll make to your business at the end of the process. Definitely. So it'll probably be finding ways to delegate and provide authority to junior people.
Fantastic. Well, Mark, thank you so much for chatting with us and sharing some of your experiences and some of the things that you guys have learned. It's, you know, it's so valuable for us to be able to share these experiences with other business owners, and we really, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
No problem. Good to speak to you.
Thank you ever so much, Mark.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for watching. What was your takeaway from today's interview? Please post it in the comments below and subscribe for all our upcoming videos, or click for the next video here.